Emission reductions has to start at home, so I'll tell you what I'm trying to do myself. Forgive me for producing some emissions and pollution, but this rhythm in the music is my living. When I do it, I get paid. Yeah, it's been a decade since I've had a day job, and I did it my way, like Frank Sinatra. I'm kicking up a racket. I could be at a university teaching classes, but this is more fun than teaching. Look at the people I'm reaching. Been around the world. I fly to Europe for the weekend, do a gig in California before I fly to New Zealand. Encyclopedic Rolling Stone, pinch me, I'm dreaming. And you can check my status, got a US visa. 01, artist of extraordinary achievement. This is all I've ever wanted, baby, living the life. In the past 5 years, 150 flights, 15 countries, 40 states and provinces. As for carbon emissions, I'm off the charts with it. Fossil fuel is how I got here, both to entertain you and in my career. If you're earning something, then you're burning something. Prosperity is driven by internal combustion. So where my fossil fuel ball is at? If you're burning something, holler back. You where my fossil fuel ball is at? If you're burning something, holler back. What, nobody's gonna holler back in this whole room? Yo, this is a Western democracy. Your carbon footprints are huge. Let's be honest, I'll confess first. I've been burning the hydrocarbons at both ends, burning to make money and burning to spend. And no one tells me how to dispose of my own property. A globe-trotting solo artist with total autonomy. This is what I am. Fossil fuel is a part of me. It powers 80% of the global economy. In other words, if you have some money, it's got oil stains on it. Your hands are bloody. And if you don't believe me, go ahead and do a study. Pimping ain't easy, you better ask somebody. Cooking with gas is pimping. Driving a car is pimping. Energy consumption is pimping. Look at how we're living gangsta compared to horse and buggy days, cranking up the air conditioner on muggy days, not freezing to death in the winter. If energy consumption is a sin, I'm a sinner. Life is good, it's better than it used to be. Let the good times roll, fossil fuels are cheap. That's how we stay hella major. Prosperity is the bomb, player hater. So where my fossil fuel ball is at? If you're burning something, holler back. You where my fossil fuel ball is at? That's y'all. If you're burning something, holler back. You where my fossil fuel ball is at? That's it. If you're burning something, holler back. We got Mother Nature on her back, but it's a one-time thing, never call her back. Wait, turn off the lights, conserve power. Everything goes dark, it's Earth hour. We're taking action on climate change. All together now, back to the Stone Age. In the meantime, I'll be up in Vegas, illuminated, laughing at you player haters, face it. Ballin' is part of our nature, embrace it. You love energy wasting. Would you rather be living large and comfortably, or in a shack burning dung for heat? Some people don't have a choice, but you do. So don't hit me with any hypocritical voodoo about trying to reduce my footprint voluntarily. I'm trying to make ends, I can't let them barely meet. I'm always trying to get more gigs and fly more. I got a wife and a daughter to provide for, and maybe one day solar will supply us. I hope so. It's better for global climate. Just don't make me choose between solar and diapers, and don't make me switch off my amplifiers. So I'm a fossil fuel ball is at? That's y'all. If you're burning something, holler back. You where my fossil fuel ball is at? Be honest, you know you're burning something, holler back. You where my fossil fuel ball is at? Get loud. If you're burning something, holler back. We got Mother Nature on her back, but it's a one-time thing, never call her back. Holla! Anybody who hollers back at that garbage should be deeply ashamed of themselves. Look, scientists are telling us that we're standing on a precipice and we have to convert the global economy and make it emissionless. And those emissions are caused by every single one of our jobs, every one of us contributing carbon emissions to the smog. For instance, if I write a rhyme trying to describe climate change and it's hot and it catches on, someone's gonna fly me someplace to perform it. And the appeal of that is enormous. It's not an option for me to turn down work for global warming, cause I make it hot. Yeah, people say my rhymes are dope. I twist words until they're unrecognizable. I make it hot. I make it easy for sheezy. So hot even climate change skeptics will believe me. I make it hot, like the temperature it needs to be before the Tea Party will believe the IPCC. I make it hot. I liquefy the Greenland ice sheets. 7 meters of sea level rise. That'll do nicely. And yeah, humans are adaptable and we can toughen up, but that response ignores People who feel like it's already tough enough make a list of countries that nobody visits as a tourist. They have low carbon emissions. The richest inflicted this on the poorest. We did it by heating our houses and feeding our spouses and flying and driving places and having no patience for power outages. The Pope calls it anthropocentric. He calls it obnoxious, but I got work to do, and work takes energy to accomplish, and I make it hot. Yeah, I turn up the heat on a crowd. You make it hot too, though, so don't try to be weaseling out. I make it hot, like the African sun, like the Paleocene, Eocene thermal maximum. I make it hot. Feel that bass when it vibrates. Hot like the permafrost releasing methyl hydrates. I make it hot, like a planet with low albedo, like me rocking a trench coat on a beach instead of a Speedo. Hot with no apologies, but still I'm feeling a lot of grief for the impact my lifestyle has on the planet's ecology. My carbon footprint is bigger than cryptozoologies. I'm talking Loch Ness monstrous, so I'm not at peace because the aggregate effect of every decision I'm making is tragic. But I can't just quit. They say that we're carbon emission addicts, but that's just glib. You want me to live in poverty abject? And if I did, what happens to greenhouse gases on average? If I quit and you don't, it's still hell in a handbasket. A traffic jam with no plan of action. Fantastic. This is a classic arms race that we're trapped in. It's ominous, self-interested parties stuck in a tragedy of the commons. The problem is caused by our collective emissions of carbon, but the person who emits is not the person emissions are harming. So that's a failure of the market. Like everyone is incentivized to pollute as much as they can get away with and catch a free ride. So it's no surprise to now see emissions on the rise. When the cost of burning fossil fuel is externalized, it's effectively subsidized. It's paid for by the victims of the eventual climate impacts caused by our emissions. And Bill McKibben and The Guardian have been targeting investments like dirty energy is the new tobacco. So keep your distance from anybody making a profit off of fossil fuels. Cool, I'm down with the boycott. I'm just boycotting myself too, cause I make it hot. Yeah, I cause a heat wave. How about 9 degrees hotter than the hottest ones these days? I make it hot. Like climate refugees, picture a hot 100 million displaced Bangladeshis. I make it hot. I spit flames, rap metaphors, a 5-alarm blaze killing the last redwood forest. I make it hot. What if I make it 6 degrees, causing the extinction of 40% of species? Hot. So what are we left with? A speeding train with no brakes? Some kind of a death wish? A scientific consensus that we're standing on a precipice? And a population with no idea of how to reduce their emissions? Some people do offset their footprint voluntarily with the milk of human altruism, hope, faith, and charity, but that's not gonna cut it. It's not counterproductive, but we have a global carbon budget that's globally busted, and there are hundreds of gigatons that we would have to offset. You might as well donate your piggy bank to the national debt. I ain't got no spare change to donate to carbon offsetting. I don't even want to calculate my footprint. I find it upsetting. It's like the medieval Catholic Church back when they were indulgence selling. If you get a Big Mac and a Diet Coke, your belly's still swelling. But here's what I'm willing to pay a tax, like a fee calculated against my carbon impacts and globally harmonized to switch incentives around and make sure most of that carbon stays safely under the ground. But I'm not gonna pay it, not unless you all pay it too. That way I can be sure that you'll do what you say you'll do. How about everyone has to pay it? No free riders allowed, no international pact with the US or China left out. You can invest it in green R&D or you could dividend it back to me. But either way, I won't be happy until the day they're carbon taxing me, cause then I'll make it hot without ever feeling this chill. I'm just sick of the guilt trip, killing my high when I'm feeling a thrill. So I make it hot. I get your emotions aroused. If we don't get those hot, we're not gonna keep the oceans down. So let's make it hot. People, let's turn up the heat on polluters trying to catch a ride on all the rest of us for free. I make it hot on the mic and in my social life when I agitate for my friends to agitate for a carbon price. And that's how you make it hot.
Make it hot.
Thank you. All right, since this is a business conference here, I'd just like to imagine what it would be like if a hip-hop concert were ever crossed with a business school seminar, such as you might find at Stern. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the seminar this afternoon. Before we begin discussing the future of global capitalism and how you, like me, can profit from it, I'd just like to find out who is in the audience this evening. So put your hand up if you consider yourself to be a pro-market person. I'm assuming most of you probably, right? Pro-market, good. All right, now put your hand up if you think we should have an ambitious target to reduce CO2 in the atmosphere. Where are my ambitious target people at? All right, Bernie Sanders crowd. Put your hand up if you think a carbon price is the best way to get there, either cap and trade or a tax. Who's down with the pricing? Interesting. Check this out. I want to tell you about a bubble and how the bubble works. The bubble's value is based on our perception of what it's worth. But if that perception changes, that bubble's gonna burst. So we should try to stay ahead of the curve, right? All right, we're gonna break it down in the form of a rap verse. Back before the crash of 2008, a few people saw that bubble and knew how it would take. That was debt obligations on top of debt obligations, collateralized and traded, bloated and overinflated. Bad debt was being sold as AAA rated assets. Hindenburg, don't be surprised when it crashes. Well, now we've got another bubble on our hands, and it's a hell of a lot worse than subprime mortgage scams. It's the carbon bubble, a whole economic engine on a collision course to bankrupt the climate system. Risky business. But who's gonna give us a bailout? This global civilization is a bit too big to fail now. The carbon economy is an insolvent bank, so the government's gotta be part of the fix. Ask Dodd-Frank. I'm not a businessman, I'm a businessman. I need a carbon price to handle my business, damn. So one more time, put your hand up if you're pro-market. I think it was most of you guys, right? Pro-market, put your hand up if you want the ambitious target. One more time, right? If you want the price on carbon, let's try to move the needle a bit, because you know, a business doesn't have to close down to reduce emissions. It needs a level playing field with its competition, and economic growth can continue. We don't have to stop it. It might shut down a bit, but alternatives are catastrophic. So far, the most popular is this cap and trade system. That's a decreasing total limit on greenhouse gas emissions, but with tradable permits, auctioned off or given away, so companies who innovate to reduce emissions get paid, which is great, unless it's only big business capped and charged. That doesn't go far enough. What about tailpipes on cars? That's why some countries go with a carbon tax instead. Just a flat rate at the source where that fuel gets extracted. And that's when clean energy gets a lot more competitive and revenues get dividended back to regular citizens. And some of it gets invested in the next round of inventions to revolutionize the energy system. Picture it and get your hands up if you're pro-market. Get your hands up if you want the ambitious target. Get your hands up. Yeah, bounce them just like that. Bounce them. If you want the price on carbon, let's get this capitalistic party started. Wait, ignoring climate change is like investing in derivatives. In 2007, it's not recommended. The future is a shared resource. Don't bet against it. Bet on scientific literacy winning elections. We're trying to get to net zero emissions by 2050. Anything less is just unacceptably risky, but with the right market incentives, we'll find the way forward. Carbon pricing can even pay to protect surviving rainforests, because if you plant a new forest or close a coal burning plant, that's atmospherically equivalent in its carbon content, and deforestation is 17% of emissions released, so the carbon price has to capture what's sequestered in trees. That price can be cap and trade, or a tax, or a hybrid, you know, one or the other or both, as long as we stabilize the climate. And opportunity knocks for the future masters of business who embrace this evolution of capitalism. What? So people, get your hands up if you're pro-market. Get your hands up if you want the ambitious target. Get your hands up if you want the price on carbon. Let's get this green capitalism party started. Well, I'm not sure how far I managed to move the needle this afternoon, but I do appreciate you attending the seminar. All right, let's get that one down just a bit, please. If you invest in fossil fuels, I feel bad for you, son. I got 99 problems, but that ain't one. All right, let's take a second and contemplate it. A fossil fuel company that's publicly traded. What's a business that sells fossil fuel worth? They got a book value based on proven reserves. Not the fuel they sell to us and we burn now, it's the coal, gas, and oil still underground, which technically is worthless until it oxidizes, but as soon as they find it, it goes in their stock prices. The top few hundred companies digging and drilling it are collectively worth more than $7 trillion. But did they forget the IPCC? I thought we had an agreement to keep this heat increase below 2 degrees. If so, we get to release maybe 560 gigatons by 2050. Any disregard for that budget is highly destructive. Those are the facts that we're stuck with. The percentage of the budget covered in proven reserves determines how much we can burn and what to keep in the earth. So what's down there now, waiting to come to market? Around 2,700 gigatons of carbon. That's 5 times as much as we can safely burn. So investment managers should be a bit concerned that fossil fuel stock prices are inflated. Get your pensions out before the industry craters. Investing in fossil fuels gotta be a bad bet if 80% of it is a stranded asset, like a warehouse full of Kodak film when digital crashed the market, causing a total loss of principle. What a lack of principles. What's on their books can't be cashed in unless the whole planet cooks. Yeah, I used to put my faith in spiritual transformation. Now I put my faith in legislation to end this whole fossil fuel charity bid and make sure we get clean energy up to parity with the grid. You guys wanted to know what peer-reviewed rap sounded like? It uses grid parity punchlines. All right. Thank you very much. I got a couple of other tracks to share. They said I had 25 minutes to strut my carbon emission reducing stuff. So this one is about the future, a vision of the future. Let's all picture it. In the future, you'll see me rocking solar panels on my Tesla. Solar panels on my Tesla. I'm rocking solar panels on my Tesla. Green tech renaissance, better catch up. Petroleum is oh so prosaic. I'm a player when it comes to photovoltaics. So 3 cheers for the engineers. 80% price drop in the past 5 years. I've been to Germany, it's kinda gray, but most of their total power is solar on sunny days. Okay, it's cheaper than coal now in 20 states. Haters hate, but they can't stop the wave. Hey, in the next phase of battery techs, got that solar flowing day and night, and that'll be it. We got a gravity battery underground, charging up with a solar water pump right now. Every house, every car, every business, every year, make the switch and ignition switches will disappear. I'm rocking solar panels on my Tesla. You say it. Rocking solar panels on my Tesla. Use a gas guzzler, that's messed up. I'm rocking solar panels on my Tesla. Did I mention solar panels on my Tesla? Your turn. Rocking solar panels on my Tesla. You got coal dust up in your left lung. Solar panels on my Tesla. Wait, I'm a fan of how the wind feels. Windmills power whole cities when you put them up in fields. That's the new fossil fuel is the old way. Don't hate on wind farms, Don Quixote. What about nuclear? That's what they asking me. Hell of a lot better for the planet than gasoline. Some new investments made can make it extra safe. I'm thinking Bill Gates probably should investigate Apollo moonshot, scalable renewables. We can't expect Elon Musk to do it on his own. Cellulolytic biofuel and carbon capture, lifting CO2 out of thin air just like the Rapture. Gadgets to manufacture and toys to play with, making it pay when pollution poison's abated. So come fly with me on solar Cessnas into a future of affordable Teslas. I'm rocking solar panels on my Tesla. Solar panels on my Tesla. Hypothetically, here's a confession. I drive a Honda, not a Tesla. But if it wasn't so expensive, I'd get one and rock solar panels on my Tesla. That's the future, y'all. Solar panels on my Tesla. You say it. I'm rocking solar panels on my Tesla. Once more. Yeah. It's like Madison Square Gardens up in here. All right. I complained about that water thing. You can hear why, right? Damn, sustainability is a motherfucker. I got one last song that I want to share, and most of this song is going to be freestyle, which means, like the first one, I wrote it, they put it on the screens, and I said it. This one, I just sent them a bunch of different phrases that I heard in the plenary. Those phrases are going to pop up on the screens, and I'm going to do my best to improvise them into the rhyme. Because, you know, you got to think on your feet when you're trying to come up with sustainability solutions, right? You guys can relate. All right, so I'm about to do this freestyle rap off the top of my dome. But before I start with the freestyle part, I'm going to do the written introduction so you understand how the freestyle works. Because freestyle is not free, it's highly regulated. That's what keeps it elevated instead of degraded. I voluntarily restrain it so you get something from it. It's free, but it's not free. It needs infrastructure. You want to hear a freestyle that's really free? Check it out. Yeah, I improvised every syllable in that sequence. But was the lack of semantic content a weakness? Okay, here's a freestyle that's slightly less free. Intelligible words, bird, bee, watermelon, seed, tree, sweet. Those words came straight off the top of my dome. But in retrospect, they didn't have a point or a flow. So I suppose when I freestyle, it should really have parameters so you could tell the difference between professionals and amateurs. It's got to work sonically and rhythmically and logically. It's better off with better laws, kind of like market economies, because freestyle ain't free. Freestyle's regulated. It's the rhyme and rhythm that makes it lyrically elevated, and freedom ain't free. Freedom involves trade-offs. We don't want a banker to be free like Bernie Madoff, right? Freedom ain't free. Freedom for Cecil the Lion means you gotta take away the freedom of dentists to buy him. Yeah, freedom ain't free. You say you want a free market? I want a market free from people dumping their garbage on me. Freedom ain't free. Now don't freak out, but the whole rest of this flow is about to be freestyle, which means I had to come up to my brain to bring these sounds. I was sitting at the back of the room, 1, 2, 3, writing them down. I was like, I'm gonna take the concepts and become the vessel and help the planet one day get to the 2-degree threshold. I'm trying to show my muscle. I'm just trying to test flows, but sometimes it's hard. Sometimes the lyrics I speak are garbage, but I'm still trying to freestyle your brains towards domestic targets. We gotta try to act quickly and get the business people on board. I'm trying to freestyle nicely with something that's beautiful, not with the stupidness. What is gonna happen is the government have to be punitive. I don't know, but I'm trying not to ruin this. I'm just trying not to mess up rocking with the musicians. Yeah, that's right, I'm freestyling right now. This is me soul bearing. I'm not one of those people sitting back just not caring. I'm saying we could get together right now with burden sharing. Yeah, that's the way that I'm keeping it raw. Maybe BSR stands for burning sharing raw, y'all. I don't know. I'm just improvising, trying to make it a bit surprising. See, this is me freestyling, trying to be a nice artist, trying to get to the opposite of a future that's net zero carbon. Why? Because I'm breathing out a lot of CO2 every second when I spit a lyric like y'all people do. Yeah, oh my God, I'm thinking there's some mistakes I'm about to be making, talking a bunch of trash about the future Trump administration. Yeah, that's right, I'm spitting it right now. The lyric unfurls. Only one thought comes to mind, the frickin' end of the world. But anyway, I'm gonna have to spit this so y'all could learn. I can't remember why I put this in. Todd Stern, yeah, my rhymes conquer. I'm trying not to be lame, but Todd did say I'd love to hear a rapper say my name. So I was like, okay, I'll just integrate it. Yeah, perennial. I'm just trying to get it quickly out of my mental. You guys can recruit rap music to maybe reach all the millennials, and that's the way that we're gonna get right up in their schools and be rapping with them. I'm just trying to catch a wave on the popularity of Hamilton. No, not indeed. That's the way that I'm rocking this. I've been doing it for years. Too bad it all hinges on U.S. politics. Thank you guys all very much. You've been a fantastic, if somewhat too well-dressed audience. I have recently released a rap guide to climate chaos CD, which attempts to summarize the science, politics, and economics of the climate discussion into the form of rap songs. And everyone here has been given a card with a unique download code to get that CD. And, bang it, listen to it in the gym, share it. I think rap music can help, potentially, right? So thank you guys. You've been fantastic. Enjoy your dinners. I'm Baba Brinkman. Thank you.